Howdy, folks, and welcome to Chatting with Beloved Chatters. I am Dillon. I am coming to you from my bedroom, and I am with American Cupcake, coming from the cab of his truck. How are you doing today, Cupcake?
Doing well, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. How are
Absolutely.
you?
And I'm doing well this morning. I had to wake up a little bit early. Usually I'm live streaming at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and yeah, had to get up a little early, make my coffee a little earlier to make sure that I wasn't late getting to the beloved chatter, who I'm
Well,
getting familiar with now.
yeah, I appreciate that. I had a delivery early this morning, and I'll be honest with you, I drove like all night, so I'm running on like an hour of sleep. So that's why I was like, you know what? And I knew I would. So I was like, you know what? If we can do it early, just then when I'm done here, I'll probably get a couple hours shut eye.
Where are you right now? What part of the country?
I am in New Jersey.
What am I doing in New Jersey, as George Carlin would say? And you
I
do
don't like
long
New Jersey
haul.
at all. Yeah.
You not only are chatting with beloved chatters, you've been meeting with a lot of people all over the country recently.
Yes. Started with producer Joe from the Shuley Network. I was in their Discord, and I had I think I was it was a long run. It was a weekend run, So I had a couple. It was a while. So and I put in the Discord, hey, I'm coming from, I'm going to Florida, and it was March, so it was kind of cold, still cold up north. And then producer Joe, he messaged me, and I was like, hey, where are you at? He's like, you want to meet for breakfast? I was like, sure. So then we met up, and then after that went back to his house and watched the Uncle Rico show.
Watched him in action producing Uncle Rico.
I did.
How so you do long hauls regularly then? Do you how often do you get to go home to your actual house?
About once every 2 or 3 weeks.
Traveling and what's your longest mileage? How much is your maximum mileage per day, either in your truck or in your car?
I don't know per day, but a couple weeks ago I did in 7 days I did rack up 5,500 miles.
That's a bunch. I know. My most was traveling across country, relocating from Maryland to Los Angeles. Did 1,100 miles in one day. 14 hours. We had a free place to stay. So once we were at 900, we were like, what's another 200 if we got a free place to stay?
Yeah, right. When it's that long, exactly.
And we were discussing this a little bit before we went on air. Is American Cupcake your trucker handle? All truckers, they used to have the CB radio and have their handle. And I believe you guys still have the CB radio, so you can give each other a heads up and such.
Yeah, I haven't gotten one in my new truck yet. This is actually a brand new truck, 2023. It is actually I have changed it, to my handle, and I'll tell your channel too. I did not christen myself American Cupcake. My handle used to be A Mean Cup of Joe, AMEAN, first name, and then CUPAJOE. That was my, and I was on the Shuley Network and sent in a super chat, and Bob Levy was reading it, and he goes, American Cupcake, $5. So I was like, okay, I guess that's my new name. And
once you are christened by Bob Levy, that's who you are. As mentioned with Dr. Spaghetti Tooth John last week, Dave Dallafiore is Daffler, thanks to Bob Levy knighting him as such.
Correct. And I'll be honest with you. I love even Cupcake. Like, I love that nickname. I fucking love that nickname.
So that wasn't your handle before. It was A Mean Cup of Joe when you got on TV.
Correct.
And my dad is Peanut, so
together
you would have Peanut Cupcakes. I'll have to ask him the origin of that. I've known he's been Peanut forever and ever, and he doesn't do long hauls. As he gets up in age, he does some overnights, but he hauls fuel locally. What type of freight do you haul?
Whatever needs to be. I've taken diesel motors for semi trucks, and I've taken in my box truck, a box that was, this big. But it's got. I'm not like here. I'll clear this up too. Yes, I I drive for a living, and the vehicle I drive is a truck. So yes, technically I am a truck driver, but I am the WNBA of truck drivers because I just drive a box truck. I don't have a CDL. I'm not, and I'm not restricted. So I can drive. 24 hours. If I need to, if I need to drive all night, I'm not restricted. And
Yeah, I've
obviously
actually
I'm compensated well.
Yeah, I've actually driven a food truck that was converted into a box truck. My dad loves driving the big vehicles. I was actually a bit intimidated by it, but once getting used to it, like I drive a coupe, so I'm down low to the ground.
Yeah.
Once I got used to being up there, it's like, okay, I can do this. I can drive this larger thing, and really, it was trial by fire because, like, the second time I had to drive the box truck food truck from the one of the busiest intersections in Los Angeles to the Las Vegas Strip. So jump in, buddy.
Yeah.
You're gonna
That's a
fuck
pain in
this
the
up
ass
or you
too.
won't. Yeah. So do you have a satellite radio in your truck, or do you listen to terrestrial radio? Do you have favorites in like different cities that you like to listen to?
No, actually, I just this is what I was when I got this job. Like when I was just a regular working stiff. I used to sell cars for 107 years. But I would, on my time off, I would just sit at home and either on my TV or on my phone, I'd watch YouTube or like I don't really, so that's really all I do in the truck. I just have YouTube on, and now that I'm in the familiar with the Dabbleverse, that's all I do now. Basically, I see who's live and what shows I can watch that I hadn't seen before. So that's my sad little life in the truck.
I really Howard Stern's first years on Sirius, I was all in for the satellite radio. Unfortunately for them, 4G technology caught up to them and made their technology obsolete.
Yeah.
Now not only audio, the full-on video you can watch in your truck in most places.
Right. Oh yeah. When like I was an Opie and Anthony fan, and when they went to XM, I was I was one of those guys that I'm not paying for radio. I'm not going to be paying for no radio. You guys can go screw. So yeah, I had to find somebody else.
I think Cupcake did introduce himself, Wits. This is American Cupcake here, a mean cup of Joe. He is a trucker, a box trucker, the WNBA of truckers. I suppose my dad is kind of the inverse of you. He also drag races locally. There's such a thing as diesel drag racing. So, being the fact that he's been
Oh
a trucker
wow.
for decades and a hobbyist drag racer for actually decades as well now, he wins anytime he goes. He
For
comes
sure.
away every time he goes because it's such two skill sets coming together that most of it's
Right.
just truckers having fun, where he's having fun, but he's very experienced in both.
Right. Does he have his own vehicle to race?
Yeah, he owns his own business and works with a dispatcher. Worked with a local fuel hauling company. What was it? Around the year 2000 is when they were, he felt like they were messing around with him too much, and he was like, "All right, if I go independent, I will make at least as much money, maybe more." So,
Yeah. Yeah.
are you? Do you own your own business, or are you?
I actually drive for. I mean, I drive for a company. Funny story with that. I was selling cars, and my I've been renting this place, for about 5 years, and I lost my job at the car dealership, and I called my landlord. I was like, hey, I lost my job, so rent is gonna, I'm gonna be probably short with rent, for the next month or two while I look for a job. And he asked me like, do you like to drive? I was like, yeah. Then he came over. It was Friday when I called him. He came over that Sunday. That Tuesday, I was on my way to Salt Lake City to start my new job. So
Nice.
my landlord, who was my landlord for 5 years, ended up being my boss right now. Let me tell you, he is the best guy to work for too. I have, in my, what am I, 48 now? In my 40 years, 30 years of being a tax-paying working stiff in the United States, I have never, ever, ever felt the urge or need to celebrate Bosses Day. This is going to be the third year that I'm with the company. Yeah, my boss is absolutely. My mom is making the third handmade cross stitch, something for my boss. Happy 2023 Bosses Day.
Nice. I was unaware
Yeah,
of Boss's Day. Everyone has a day now. Girlfriend's Day, Secretary's Day. What day of the year is Boss's Day?
October 16th.
October 16th, coming up soon. 5 days away from Boss's Day. So be sure to get something special or a bag of flaming poo for your boss, folks.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you were an Opie and Anthony fan initially.
Yes.
It seems like this Dabbleverse that we get to know each other in are like refugees from Opie and Anthony and Stern Show, and it's fun
It's
connecting over
hilarious for sure.
Opie and Anthony. I didn't get to until they were already off the air. It's YouTube clips, which I became a fan of after the fact. Huge Stern fan, second generation Stern fan, thanks to my dad.
Okay.
That's what he listened to all the time. The greatest Christmas gift I ever got anyone was Sirius XM for him in 2005. I was surprised I was the only one to do that. I was like, guys, are you not paying attention? He's listened to Stern since like 1983 in DC, and he can't listen to him anymore. I'm the only one that thought of this, and he's got the lifetime subscription. So he hasn't
Cool.
paid for years.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's familiar with Opie and Anthony, but yeah, if I would have given them a chance back in the day, they would have converted me. They were on fire in the XM days.
Yeah, I can remember the reason I got turned on to Opie and Anthony was they were they were like Howard Stern's competition. I'm from Chicago, so I had to listen to him syndicated. So I don't think I ever heard Opie and Anthony live because they were a morning show and I listened to them in the afternoon. You know, they were on air in the afternoon in Chicago. And Howard Stern was on in the morning. And there was a DJ, Steve Dahl, Steve and Gary. I don't know if any local Chicago people know, but and he would.
I'm familiar with Steve Dahl. I've heard that Stern stole from him and won't admit it. Is that true?
Exactly. Yes, that's kind of why. Like when I heard that, and then Stern, oh, Steve Dahl, that big fat Steve Dahl. I didn't steal. But yeah, it was. I can't remember what the bit was, but it was. Yeah, he definitely stole a bit from Steve Dahl. And then I was like, oh, and then coming to 105.9, Opie and Anthony, and I was like, okay. And then they shit on Howard Stern once, and I was like, all right. And then all my friends listened to Howard Stern, so I was always a bit of a contrarian, like I guess I am. Like I do not go with like the popular opinion. So I mean, it was like, oh, okay, so these guys are different. All right, I'm in.
Yeah, Howard Stern was the big brand. Opie and Anthony were the upcoming brand.
Correct. Yeah. I'm absolutely 100% for the underdog. Like if I'm watching football, and I really have no love for either team, whatever, who's ever losing, whenever I turn it on, that's who I root for because it's always better for them. It's always more exciting to have your team come back and win.
You said you're in Jersey, so are the Giants your regular football team?
Oh no, I'm in Jersey. I'm from Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
You 1-5 Bears. I'm sorry.
Lost you there for a moment. You're back though. Yeah, sorry, right, cool. I got confused already. You're in New Jersey. You're from Chicago. You just spent 5 minutes saying you're from Chicago. I need to improve my listening skills.
Baby steps.
Yeah, this is my second one. So hopefully by my 20th one, I'm not doing these little things where it's like, are you even paying attention? I swear I was.
Right.
So all Chicago teams for you across the board?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the Bears, the Cubs. I mean, I if the Blackhawks are on, obviously I'll watch them. I'll root for them. If the Hawks are on, the Blackhawks and the Bulls, but yeah, basically the Cubs and the Bears. And there's another team on the south side of Chicago that we don't talk about very much.
Okay, and we will continue to not talk about them. South side Chicago team. For me, the Orioles growing up, had to be a fan. Grew up in the weird time where I love the story of the Indianapolis Colts, the Baltimore Colts, literally in the middle of the night. They were like, all right, we've got a loophole. If we announce this, they can fuck us and make us not leave. But if we just go, we can go. And they did.
It's like they were running out on a hotel bill or something.
And it's fun actually running into people who were college kids at the time who they paid come help us load up these trucks. And yeah, therefore like the Ravens came to town. I like it was too late for me. I didn't really care.
Right.
When I thought I was going to move to Vegas, I was like, all right, the Golden Knights, their hockey team, that's perfectly hokey. I didn't get into hockey much before that. I was like, they could be my team if I'm a Vegas boy. Oh, they're getting the Raiders. What are they going to change the franchise name to? Oh, they're not going to change the name?
Yeah.
No, I can't be a Raiders fan. Like the Ravens are actually the Browns. I can't be a Browns fan, but I can
Right.
cheer for the Ravens. The Raiders, no. If you would have changed them to anything, even the Golden Raiders would have been like, all right, this is some Vegas shine on this
Right.
tarnished. Oakland is such a battered city, and they still
It's
love
so
those
awful to
Raiders.
drive through too. It's like it's like a third world country. Like some parts of like southern Los Angeles, like oh my god, it's so horrible sometimes. It's so bad. Same.
San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
When the San Diego, what was it, Chargers moved to Los Angeles, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
downgraded. You've got such a beautiful city that makes sense. Los Angeles is just thrown together.
Yeah. 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 Well, and I don't like driving in LA either. Like, ugh, ugh, ugh.
Completely understand. That's a like when I got familiar with the streets in Los Angeles, I was like, oh, I don't need the GPS. Yes, you fucking do. You don't
Yeah,
know
you do.
what's clogged going from Burbank to Culver City, like the east side to the west side. You must ask the GPS. Like it never took me the same way twice in a row because this is too fucked. That's too fucked. And I had to stop using fucking Waze, and there take this left turn at this fucking impossible left turn section. Do you have a special trucker GPS?
No, I just use Google Maps unless I'm going to like unless I'm driving in New York where there's parkways, so then there is a trucker GPS, but it sucks. Like it's not, I don't know, I just don't like it. But when you're in New York and you can't, you got to avoid parkways. There's 15, they've got that one tunnel that's only like 8 feet clearance, and like this, you can't have like any commercial badging on your vehicle. You can't have any, no trucks, no vans, no nothing. So, and that's, that adds sometimes, avoiding parkways and stuff, that'll add an extra hour, 2 hours to your, to your drop time.
Yeah, pain in the ass. I'm still trying to quit that smoking stuff. I'm down to like one a day. I quit for like 6-7 years. Los Angeles actually helped me quit having to working and having to wear wardrobes clothes. I'm like, I can't smoke this up with my tobacco.
Yeah.
And
right.
Having a miserable job brought me back in. At my peak this summer, it was up to 7 a day, and it was like, let's knock this off. And one a day, I'm down to. On bad days, 2 a day, but I'm weaning myself off.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm at home, I barely smoke. Like if I'm, maybe at the bar, no, not maybe. Like, yeah, if I'm at the bar, I'll definitely smoke. But like, yeah, I just basically, smoke in the truck. It's just something to do. But yeah, when I'm at home, like,
get that.
Yeah, like a pack of cigarettes. Like if I buy a pack of cigarettes like Friday morning and I'm home, like it'll last me till Monday morning. But if I'm on the road, shit, I've smoked 2 packs a day sometimes when I'm driving.
With me, it's the accompanying. Both coffee and beer are triggering to add a cigarette too. It's like milk and cookies, cigarettes and coffee, or cigarettes and beer.
Now, speaking of beer, I take you as a craft beer guy. I don't take you as a Coors or a Budweiser or a.
Growing up, my family was Coors Light, Miller Lite, and I am definitely now a craft beer guy. There's a few local breweries that I enjoy going to, and Los Angeles hipstered me up, so it's IPAs. It's actually like the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. We've got this 4.8 beer, craft beer for $7, or this 6.5 beer for $7. Give me the 6.5.
Right.
I'm here to get a little bit tipsy, and I do know my limit. So I've got to sip them. I don't guzzle. My brother, major Coors Light guy, and fucking pounding them. I can't do it. I don't like it. Like he'll get. All right, you're back.
Yeah.
Your Wi-Fi
Sorry.
is mostly good. It's
Yeah.
dropping out a few times. When you drop out, you're coming right back in. Annie
Okay.
is making me look like a wuss. Voodoo Ranger at 9%.
I was
What
in
was
Roswell. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. I was Roswell, New Mexico. I
Yeah, I
was
was in
trying to get my
Roswell.
thoughts together.
I was in Roswell, New Mexico, and I've been there a couple times. I love Roswell. It's just a cool little town. But there's a sports bar, and they've got this pale ale. It's called Alien Amber Ale, and dude, it was like 8.5%, but it was so good. It was so fantastic.
Golden
I can
Monkey,
only
that's what I was trying to think of. Victory Brewing in Pennsylvania has one called Golden Monkey that it goes down so smooth. It tastes kind of fruity, and yeah, that one is deceptively strong. The Victory Brewing's Golden Monkey.
yeah, that's the thing with IPAs sometimes. Like you're having a good time. You get two, and then you take the first sip of that third one. You're like, holy fuck, I'm a lot more drunk than I thought I should be.
Yeah, that's why I have to be a sipper with my high octane beers. I was happy to see when I moved here to somewhere that they had Space Dust by Elysian Brewery. That was my favorite at my local bar in Burbank, and
Gotcha.
it's fun running into celebrities. Do you remember Bulk and Skull from the Power Rangers?
Yes, yes, I do.
He was
My
a
bro,
day
my
drinker. I was a night drinker at the bar, so we would like pass and chat for a little bit. Really intelligent guy.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately, I never ran into Kiefer Sutherland getting completely hammered. Oh, I
mm,
forget the name of the bar, but a few people gave me a heads up of where to see Kiefer Sutherland, where he likes to get just fucking blasted. But I never saw that. I don't know if you've seen the. Look up the clip. Kiefer is a pirate. After this, make a
okay.
note of that of
I,
Kiefer
I I will do
Sutherland.
that.
Real quick clip of drunk ass Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, I'm actually I've been watching a bunch of those like the police the body cam videos of like belligerent people, and sometimes like the audacity of some people, like, I don't go to jail. Like, what? Like, it's just,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean, you
happy
could do
over on the creep off. They've mixed it up, having some of those in, and like
yes,
this past week, the kid who just like once his mom was there, it's like mom and dad are going to make everything okay with this
yes,
officer. Yeah, some people just don't. They have their own reality that they live on, and sometimes they get brought back to this one.
right, right, and it's like who are your parents? Like, what did they do to you to get to like that you are like this?
Delete Laws. He's one of the guys that tries to expose police, but he just exposes himself as an asshole. If you're familiar with wrestling, Val Venus has been doing the same thing. I did a co-host audition with him, and oh boy, is Val Venus a Karen nowadays? It's very funny for someone who sells so much pot. It's so funny how worked up he gets and how non-chill he is of this law enforcement.
Yeah, like it baffles my mind sometimes. Just
Code Blue Cam. Thank you, Annie. Is that the one you check out, or is it
yes,
another one?
yes, Code Blue Cam. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, I
Yeah, so
like.
far I've only seen them through a TikTok. I've some people call it a kids app. I understand why, but if you get that algorithm just right, they send you the weird shit you'll love,
Right,
like
right.
sexy clowns.
Yes, yes. That's you gotta get that algorithm just right. Those there they are. There's the ones I want.
But they did nuke Kink Talk. Kink Talk was fun when it was around, but
Fucking
they
A.
were like, no, that's too far. You guys need to be more coded with your sex stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
No,
we'll be
that
more
was
coded with our sex stuff.
that was pretty cool.
A lot of fetishes on there. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
I stumbled across a Japanese woman sitting on balloons for like a half an hour. they are working around this not being able to do sexy fetish stuff. Oh, I hope I come across the woman who was swishing milk in her mouth again. I stayed there for like 10
Jesus
minutes.
Christ.
Like, is this all she's
Rule
going to do?
34.
And yeah, she just had a bowl of milk and was very sloppy about it, and for at least 10 minutes. So that's what I experienced.
I mean, there's got to be a market for it. There's got to be a market.
Yeah, those people not willing to pay for the OnlyFans can go and watch. Since we're on the kink talk, Ben's wondering what your safe word is. I wonder if we need to bring BDSM Cupcake in here instead.
I like to go with two, and they're just real simple: yellow and red. You know,
that is
simple.
The standard. Yeah.
I
before I got into the world of kink, I thought pumpernickel was a fun one to throw around, but yellow getting too hard, red fucking stop.
Yes, everything comes to an end. You know, yeah.
I like to throw in an orange as well. Of like, we need to stop, but not stop.
right. Not quite a yellow, but not. That's actually pretty good. I may have to put that in my repertoire.
Yellow and red, Ben, like a traffic signal. There's no reason to say green.
Right.
If you don't say anything, it's green.
It's green. You're good to go.
So, most Miles satellites. Let's go back to Opie and Anthony, because I just love Opie and Anthony talk.
Okay.
I thought Jim Norton's third mic was the best position of Jim Norton. Him hosting the show just doesn't flow as well for me as that third mic position. I love his stand-up. He's got a few specials, which I absolutely adore, but that third mic position.
Yeah, he's better. He was better at like riffing off of, you know, it was a great trinamic, if you want to call it that. You know, Opie was a straight man, Anthony was the voice, and then you had Jimmy in the seat. You know, it was,
you call Opie the straight man. Jimmy was the homo flexible man with his early trans talk of. He tried to get a trans talk show off the ground. That was the famous reason he was very upset at D.L. Hughley, that DL canceled last minute on his pilot of a trans talk show, like 2010, 2012, somewhere. I think somewhere in that range is when he tried to get his trans talk show on the air, and he ended. I'm sure you've seen that clip of DL Hughley on the Opie and Jim show, where Jim is just silent. He's pissed.
It's just
more
Opie
just like DL at that point.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let me plug in my phone.
Sure thing. And that didn't last long at all. The Opie and Jim show. Anthony said
they hated each other.
He knew they wouldn't last. Like, Opie can't get out of his own head. If he could get out of his own head, like I love Angry Opie. To this day, when I see Angry Opie streaming, unironically a fan. When he's just trying to do his show the way he wants to, like, it's an ironic watching. But Angry Opie, he needs to get pissed. I love solo Angry Opie. That is a good show.
Man, there's I've only found it on this one YouTube video, and the video it's like 8 hours long, but it's Anthony doing impressions, and I'll have to find it again, and I'll post a clip on Twitter. But Kevin Smith was there, and they were talking about a Winnie the Pooh show, and it was Winnie the Pooh like, oh, when it's a bad touch, you need to tell your parents or a teacher, and that they were going on at that. And they were just riffing back and forth, you know, just going, oh, so a bad touch is when a man puts his finger in your butthole, piglet. You know, like just like stuff like that.
I haven't heard that audio.
And then if you hear Opie asks Kevin Smith, oh, so I heard you're doing some Harry Potter stuff at your comic book shop. And then Kevin Smith was laughing at Anthony. He's like, and he goes to Opie, yeah. So Anthony, anyway. I mean, it's the epitome of what Anthony said, that Opie like was like just brought a dead stop. Like it was. I mean, it was. Oh, so I hear you're doing something Harry Potter at your comic book shop. Yeah. So Anthony, more about this Winnie the Pooh.
The Nopi editors could throw that in.
Oh,
That such a community, and it is so fun seeing how much Opie didn't add by removing him from the show.
It was, I mean, it's nothing. In the earlier years, he did like he would get more involved. But once Jimmy and Anthony started to mesh, then it was like he was what was it? Snowy in Michigan on the phone. Let's go to the phones.
Snowy, yeah, Snowy is iconic for being the emergency brake that Opie pulls on the fun being had around.
Right, this is my show, guys.
And
hold on.
He stopped being okay with being the straight man. Being the straight man, like he could keep the show moving along, but he just stopped being content with the guy being able to move the show along. As we can see with Anthony's show and Jim, I enjoy them both, but that Opie actually at the helm was doing something. He was happy with it.
Yeah. I mean, he did, he did kind of corral him in there, that and then, but yeah,
he go to the Opie and Anthony live shows.
I've never been to an Opie and Anthony live show.
Yeah, back in the day, they used to have a bunch of their comic friends come and they do a tour. That was that where Bill Burr got famous for? I forget if that was part of the big Bill Burr rant that made him blow up.
Possibly. I think so. I think so, actually.
Have you been to any of the Who Are These podcasts or Shuli live shows?
I've tried. I was actually in when the big Atlantic City thing, that the Kevin Brennan at Atlantic City meetup was happening. I was actually at a truck stop like 35 minutes away from there, but I was my dispatcher was like, yeah, it was I couldn't go. Like I couldn't, like I was literally 35 minutes away. And I
wouldn't allow it.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed I didn't see Bubba Palooza, Bubba the Love Sponge. I was a fan of for the 3 years he was on Sirius, and boy, he really ran his fans off with a stick. But Bubba Palooza in Jersey turned out to be a hell of a show. Artie came and did 45 minutes unannounced. I never got to see Artie Lang live.
Yeah, I love Artie Lang.
And unfortunately for his mental health, it doesn't look like we'll be able to see him live again. It's a very talented, funny guy, but he's got to keep it down low, like the Chris Farley, John Belushi type. Those vultures who just encourage your bad behaviors. They find him, and Artie is susceptible to him. So unfortunately, missed the chance to see an Artie live.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be real. Like, for those of us who have, dabbled in that, in that community, with that, if there's kind of a line that you reach where you go like, all right, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is, some guys just don't reach that. But
yeah, for me, the first time that I did Coke, I was like, this is too good. We are never, ever, ever going to seek this out. And I stuck by that rule. We will never, ever, ever seek it out. If it finds us, case by case basis.
Yeah, I was kind of like that with heroin. I did it twice. Once because I wanted to try it. The second time because it was awesome. And then the second time, like the first time I did it, one little thing, and then I was fucking, the whole night I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay, well that's what this stuff is about. Second time I did it, it was probably about an hour after I'd done it, and I was jonesing hard for another hit. I was like, holy fuck. I was like, oh my God. I go, so this is the bad side. All right, so we're never doing this again, because I don't ever want to Jones like this ever again. So that
Heroin
was
was
it.
pretty prevalent in the small town I grew up in, and yeah, seeing the people who really were addicted to it, like their eyes, it just looked like their soul had left them at some point.
Oh,
So
dude,
just seeing it
you
firsthand of what it did to people, that was always a hard no for me.
yeah, no, yeah, what got me was that Hard Jones was like, and it was I had just done some, and I was like, and I was jonesing like I'd been on a binge for like a week. And I was like, dude, I was like, whoa, I'm never doing this again. Fuck this feeling. And
I'm
and I
now
had
I'm now on a no powder ever again since fentanyl is a thing. I think I had a relative die from it. It took them forever to get back to the for them to tell what the autopsy was. I was like,
uh-huh.
it was either an overdose or it was fall down go boom. Was it fall down go boom on her head or was it the overdose?
Right, right.
I assume it was as much of a druggie as they were. I assume that it was fent involved and nope, can't do any powder anymore.
Yeah,
If it finds me, it's now a hard no, not a maybe not anymore.
yeah. That's yeah. Like when I'm at home and I'm not driving, obviously I'm going to smoke up when I'm at the house. But yeah, that's about it. Just weed and beer when I'm at the house.
Yeah,
That's that's just my
I've got to knock it
vices.
off with the weed to get a job. There's more and more places that are pee testing, and I need to knock that off for a month.
Yeah, yeah. That's rough. That's rough.
I do miss going to the corner store in Los Angeles and being able to just get an eighth. They fucked it up making it legal though. We had a good thing going in California with the medical. They just wanted to be first. Let's be first and have this shitty legislation. No. Let's not do it this time. Let's not. No, we're gonna make it legal. We're gonna be the first. And where I grew up in Maryland, it's now recreationally legal. So
Yeah,
now I'm looking forward to seeing my family.
right, right. The funniest thing, like I don't know if you've noticed, like some dispensaries that are like the medical ones, they all have like these existential names. Rise and Alterous and what's another one? Elevation. All these. And then in Oklahoma, that's strictly, it's only medical. Their dispensaries are Hippie Junction, Ganja City. I just thought that was a cool, like cool, like contraryism.
Actually, that was another reason that I wanted to go to Vegas when I was leaving Los Angeles. Is all right, weed's legal here too,
Yeah,
maybe so, and yeah, ended up landing in the middle of somewhere instead because having being cheap, living cheaply is very nice. That's why I've been
right.
able to do these live streams 5 days a week for months on end because I worked a shitty job. I fucking hated that job for a
Yeah.
year. I was frugal, and now this is my year of just having fun and dialing in. I've got to cut it back and look for a job very soon. But I keep kicking the can down the road because I am such a frugal person. So sometimes too much so to where it's like, hey, we're not living life. Let's go out and have some fun and spend a couple of bucks instead of just like, all right, we've got these couple of bucks. We can make it another month of
Right.
not working. And oh man, I think like universal pay. People after the pandemic hit, I thought of universal pay differently. I think it should be an incompetence pay. Like when you are too incompetent at your job, you get the universal pay. Get away. Do not muck up our system with your incompetence. You get
I,
incompetence pay. You can
I,
reapply to be part of the workforce. But for now, you just sit at home because you fucked things up so bad. We are stamping you with the incompetence stamp.
yeah, I mean, I can kind of agree with that, but then again, like my taxes are going to fund incompetency at the same time, so it's like,
Yeah,
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
yeah, that's where I actually became okay with that. I will pay money for you to not be in my workspace. You can have a portion of my money rather than fucking things up here every fucking day.
And I get that. I get
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I understand why you wouldn't be okay with that. But it was the director of operations of this place that I worked most recently. It's at the top. it is at the top of this person who I want to send on incompetency pay, who's running off very competent people, who's like, I like working. I like being part of the process. You're making it unreasonably difficult because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You just talk the loudest and fooled corporate into thinking you knew what you were talking about.
I hate that. Oh my God. Oh yeah, I can tell you stories. I used to work for the phone company too. Like the actual phone company. Like if your phone didn't work, you had to go to your neighbor and dial the 800 number and hit 0 to talk to a human. I was the human you wanted to talk to, and there were people there that just because of who they knew and who they were friends with, one day you'd come up and they'd be sitting at sitting at the front desk. But you are training to be a manager now. Okay. And that's when I stopped trying at that job, and I just did. I like Office Space. I did just enough to not get fired.
What I found is I've got such a work ethic that my just enough to get fired is still more than like half-ish of the people there. Like
exactly,
my work ethic won't let me be that shitty.
Right. Like I was the same way. Again, just enough to not get fired, but you didn't do anything. You did your job. You made your numbers. You did your job, and then that's another thing about working in corporate America. Like, if you exceed your numbers, then it's like, oh well, you're just doing, good job. You don't get anything extra. I mean, you're expected to exceed your numbers. Now, if you miss your numbers, then we need to have a discussion. But I am a capitalist. Yay, capitalism! But I can't stand corporations. Corporate America. Not so much the corporations; it's the people behind them.
And there's a lot of. It's kind of a new term to me. The promoted into obsolescence. You're so good, we're going to promote you. You're so good, we're going to promote you. You're not so good here. We'll keep you there. No, knock them down one to the one they were good at. Don't keep them at the one they middle at. Knock them down one where they succeeded so much.
I think the Dabbleverse is the core of the Dabbleverse is around somebody who on the Tonight Show was, okay, we're going to just put you over here now.
Yeah, and he doesn't realize it. Like that, they realized that before they put him on air. But before it, like once they got Stuttering John, they realized, oh no, you cannot be at a podium on the stage. Go there.
When I first heard that Stuttering John was going to be, all the Howard Stern debacle, I listened to it live, and it was all I could think of that this is a joke, this is a bit they're doing, and then in a week or so it's gonna. But no, dude,
it's April 1st, right? This is Howard
Stern's I thought
April
it was a bit. To use a Dabbleverse vernacular, I thought it was a work.
Yeah, the work has been thrown out a lot lately, and no, it was a shoot. John, I wonder this because he was absolutely pushing. Yes, I am a creative genius. Did he know that he wasn't the mind behind those jokes, or was he delusional enough? Like, was he lying? Was he actively lying, or he thought he was telling the truth? I'm unsure of which one it is.
No,
I think he thinks so much of himself that he really did believe he was that creative force.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he does.
His movie that he thought he was that creative force.
Yes. Nope. Yeah, like, I mean, here's the thing with John. I've said this a bunch of times too. When he was on KC show and he was hammered, but regardless of him being hammered, Casey had his piano there, and he was, and then there's John going, all right, what you put on the third one, and then the fourth one, and then that's a C chord. See, that's a C chord. I mean, he was like teaching, and I could see. And there's other stuff I've seen in John too, and I've said this too. Like, I could see his dadness come out. Like, and then when he was on the Shuley show at the beginning, he's making all those faces. Like, that's stuff he did with his kids. Like he made those faces and he did that goofy because it was too choreographed. It was too smooth. Like he did it without thinking about it. So like
That's
that was
something he's done before.
Exactly. So we were seeing Dad John doing those little dances, and then we were also seeing Dad John when he was teaching KC about a C chord and a G chord. You know, like, and that I thought that was wholesome. I was like, man, see that. So, but then then there's the other parts of John that's like, you just killed every bit of goodwill that I had for you.
I know. He had so much goodwill in, what was it, late June when he returned, and he just fucking murdered it by doing 9 hours a
toilet.
week. When he came back, I was like, all right, the perfect thing for John right now, one public show a week, one Patreon show a week, and a guest appearance. But fucking at least 9 hours a week of John. Like, no, like 2 hours public, 2 hours behind the paywall, and an hour on someone else's program would have been the perfect amount. And I would have goodwill, and he might still have 800 people watching him live rather than 300. And he won't get a manager. He thinks he's talented. He thinks he knows what he's doing. And he's John, you turned me. I was on your side in June, John.
Right. And John, and in a group setting where he could just throw stuff in, then he can kind of get some in there. But again, it's like the Jimmy Norton syndrome. Like he can't go by, like he's not a good first mic. He's not. I don't know. He just
like in his movie, deconstructing his movie. If he would have been the producer and the buddy, if he would have got someone somewhat known in the lead role, well, first off, that gets the budget higher. I think he said what it was $1.5 million. Budget no, 500,000. It was $500,000 budget for the movie. Easily could have been $1.5 million. To me, Dietrich Bader from the Drew Carey Show and Office Space. Like that's another reason why he would have been perfect for the role. It's a little wink and a nod that the two chicks at the same time guy is the cousin of the other two chicks at the same time guy.
Right.
Like watching that, I'm absolutely deconstructing every single scene John is in. Like that movie needed a B plot. I have so many notes for what that movie could have been and the fun B plot that he could have put in there. I love doing that type of stuff. Like I've got about half a dozen pilot scripts. I'd love to go back to the Hollywood stuff, or at least producing. I say Hollywood stuff. When I say Hollywood, just production. I'd love to do production stuff again, and having fun with this interview. Thanks for being with us today. We could go for a little bit longer. We're about at an hour. Like with me being brand new to this, I'm like, and for someone no one's ever heard of, an hour at a time is good. So that's why I'm doing 5 days a week at 1 hour at a time, 5 hours of me a week. That's plenty of this guy. And, just trying to do a model that is sustainable to get these training wheels on and do a bit better. And, do you are you interested in getting into more broadcasting, or are you just more of a chatter throwing some zingers?
No, it's funny you mentioned that. When I was in college, I was actually in radio. I was on the college radio station 98.3 and WHCM, and I was on college, and I was on an AM station at night, and that was more of a heavy metal station. That was AM 1330 in Chicago.
Nighttime Attitude with Cupcake.
Yeah. No, I was. What was I back then? I think I stole the name from Guar, Odorous Orungus. He called himself once. It was on a video interview. He called himself the Prime Minister of Sinister. So that was my radio name, the Prime Minister of Sinister.
Nice. Yeah, I should have got into college radio. Locally, we had Kirk, Mark, and Lopez, and then Mickey and Amelia. You can see Opie and Anthony actually dissecting Mickey and Amelia. It wasn't a Jocktober. They mentioned Opie and Anthony kind of half goofing on him. So then they really just jocktobered the shit out of him when it wasn't Jocktober.
When I was in college radio, I was on Thursday nights, and the radio station played. It played like within like a 5 mile radius of the school, and it played in the common room and in the cafeteria. Well, when my show was on, there was an AA meeting in the cafeteria, so I had to shut my show off in the cafeteria, and that made me mad. I was losing listeners, people. But one day, the guy ahead of me was called in sick, so I had a 4-hour show, and for those 2 hours, and I knew that the guys from the AA meeting, they'd go down there and they start meeting, and this is 19-year-old Cupcake, who was a smartass and a jackass. I knew I was going to have those extra 2 hours with the AA people down there, so I went to Tower Records and got 2 CDs of Irish drinking songs. Oh, and it was St. Patrick's Day, So yeah, for the first 2 hours, I played nothing but Irish drinking songs. Whiskey, you're the devil, you're leading me astray. I got in a lot of trouble for that. I got a two show suspension for that one.
Totally worth it.
Oh, for sure it was. For sure it was, dude. I had people coming. There was an AA meeting during your show, right? I said, of course I knew there was an AA meeting. Why do you think I played that?
Have you named your cat yet? You asked the internet for cat names.
I think when we get the kitten, it's cat diff. I think I'm absolutely gonna go with cat diff.
Yeah, you asked the Dabbleverse for names, so I immediately thought of some puns. Cat diff, Lucy Poop Box, and Meow Morris were the ones I gave you.
Yeah, cat diff. I think
cat diff is the cutest of all diffs. I'm sorry, yes. Radish. He's taking the top cute spot.
Yeah, it's only I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but it's only 3 weeks old. So probably next time I go home, she'll probably be coming home. He or she will be coming home.
He or she, he or him, rather.
Right. we'll just go they, because it's the current year.
You are the beloved catter. Thank you for being such a beloved catter. He's given us so much. So we should love John. He's given us so many fun memories.
Right.
All these in jokes that the outside world is just going to look at us sideways. And we can't watch him without the lens of Carl or I'm not a fan of Shuley anymore, but the Uncle Rico indeed is a fun time to throw some zingers out. I had a lot of fun in the Uncle Rico chat when I was a fan of his.
That's I still like Shuley. I watch his stuff.
Yeah, he's good. I don't know if he can win me back, but I have, as I've said before, no longer an active detractor. Indifferent. Do what you will, Shules. It's a fun place to throw some zingers at you. And to me, that was like a creative writing exercise. Once I started getting in the chat, and then I started writing more, and then it's first passion is writing. The second passion is performing. Got to that later. And honestly, it's terrifying, this type of performing versus acting on a stage, because it's my performance you're shitting on. This is much more actually me. So it's me that you're all shitting on. That even with stand-up comedy, I put on a persona.
Just say it. Just you dabbled in it. Just say it.
Oh yes, 100% dabbled in stand-up comedy. That's the perfect, and I'll still do it now and then, but it's much more of a performance art, like a mix. I always like throwing some performance art aspects into my stand-up comedy. But yeah, dabbling for about 10 years. I was on the open mic scene with Stavros. So it's really cool seeing him blow up. I remember the first thing that he really got a name for. He went on Jim and Sam at the time when he was taking sexy fat guy photos and that was the first thing that really got him noticed, was him taking erotic photos as a disgusting fat guy.
What was it in Seinfeld? What was that? George Costanza. What was the name of that?
That pose.
Yeah.
I forget exactly why he did those lingerie shoots, did Costanza, but yeah, I definitely that one is like the meme
on the Shays Lounge.
I've gone back and started watching some Seinfeld. The early seasons, they hadn't put it together yet. It's definitely one of those that grew into itself. Some knew what they were right off the bat. Raising Hope, I will always talk the praises of the first season. Adore the first season of Raising Hope, and not so much of the rest. Where, Seinfeld, it seems like around season 4 or 5, they figured out what they were.
Yeah, that was about right. Yeah.
And even the later seasons, without Larry David, I enjoyed. I know there's a lot of people that say it stunk after Larry David left. It got wackier without Larry David, but I still enjoyed those.
Yeah, it did actually get wackier. Was that was that the one where the one where Kramer stomps on the burning Puerto Rican flag to put it out?
That was the last season. Yeah. That was one of the last episodes, the Puerto Rico Day Parade.
I was watching that. I'm sitting there with my roommates going, can you, oh my God, are you watching this?
That was banned for a while.
It was?
I knew you couldn't see it in syndication. I forget if the streaming sites took it off or if it's still off, but I remember you couldn't find Puerto Rico Day Parade for a while.
Yeah, I think it is on the DVDs. I could be wrong, but I think that's where you can see it.
Actually, I need to get an original pressing of South Park season 5, where they had the super best friends and Muhammad. When they brought Muhammad back, when it was a hot button issue, and the network was like, "You can't show Muhammad." They were like,
and they had the black bar.
Yeah, the black bar that was Muhammad. Well, can we have Muhammad in a bear suit? They were able to show with a bear suit, but once he got out of the bear suit, and they were like, "Sir, your network has shown Muhammad before. A current show on the air has shown it." What? Which show? Ours. Several years ago.
Right.
It looks like our chat has been asking about Muttering Jay quite a lot. Rochi's putting it in caps this time. Like I've never had any interaction with Muttering Jay, but Rochi and I believe one other, it might have been Radish, really want to know about Muttering Jay before we get out of here.
Well, so I went to when I went to meet producer Joe, took a picture, and then the next person I met was DG from the Joey C show, and so I took a picture with DG, and apparently that makes I am the catalyst for Stuttering John traitorism, because me being in a picture with producer Joe and then being in a picture with DG, that proved that DG was a troll to Stuttering John, because he was with me, who was hanging out with producer Joe. Now, that is some Nadia Comaneci level. Yeah, that's some Nadia Comaneci level of mental gymnastics. But that's and then he and I were going back and forth, like, oh God, what was it? He wanted to ask me questions, and I was like, I'm not going to answer him here on Twitter. If you want to answer me these questions, go on the Joey C show. And then he's like, oh, well, how many subscribers do they have? I go, I don't care. If you want to ask me these questions, let's ask them live. I'm an open book. Let's do it. Oh, well, I'd rather do it on Twitter. I was like, yeah, that's so, just wait for a message. And then I go, I'm not going to text an interview. If you want to talk to me, let's go on air. And then, then something about being a coward. And I go, who's a coward? Like, I've never, like, whenever I go on stream, I have never covered my face. Like, like I'm right here. And then, then he goes, oh, so does that mean that?
And you don't let just because you're not friendly with this person I'm friendly with doesn't mean, very high school. You're his friend. then we can't be friends.
Yeah, yeah. So that was no, that was the thing with Muttering Jay. That and he also posted that I was a Stuttering John traitor. And then I posted back, I go, when have I ever professed my allegiance to Stuttering John to be a traitor to him?
I did profess my allegiance to Stuttering John back in June, but yeah, sorry, John, that has expired. It expired much sooner than I thought it was going to be. My allegiance to you, Mr. Stutterer. Thanks for coming on today, American Cupcake.
No, man, it was lots of fun, man.
Absolutely. I'm enjoying this interview show, getting to know the people that I've been just had text relationships with. No, friendship rather, for those who are going to look into that. But yeah, this has been fun, and we didn't even talk Mel Brooks. I know we could spend a whole hour.
Oh my gosh! I guess that's Cupcake's interview part 2.
Yeah, we can easily do that on part 2 for the entire 90 minutes.
So what we should do is just replay Blazing Saddles, but just say the lines to each other, because I know that movie forwards and backwards.
And Gene Wilder, I enjoyed him in Mel Brooks's movies. I didn't enjoy Gene Wilder as a director. He had Sherlock Holmes's Smarter Brother and Haunted Honeymoon. Both those I've never finished.
He directed those?
Yeah, he directed those, and it has a lot of the same Mel Brooks regulars. Dom DeLuise is in there too. Marty Feldman is in there, but I just can't get into those Wilder directed movies.
I had no idea he directed those.
Yep, I don't know which other ones he directed, but those had a bunch of our Mel Brooks favorites, some other big comedic actors of the time, and can't fucking do it.
Yeah, no, I love Mel Brooks. I love Mel Brooks. And one year on my birthday, a buddy of mine got tickets to a screening of Blazing Saddles, and then he did a Q&A afterwards for about an hour.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was this whole theater in Chicago, yeah.
He had a fun interview on WTF a few years ago. I don't know if he's had more recent ones, but that one really sticks out to me as a really great Marc Maron interview when he had Mel Brooks on.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know he interviewed him. I'll have to check that out.
Mm-hmm. Really fun one. Spaceballs, to me, when I was watching that was one of those movies that when I realized it was coming to the end, I was like, no, we need 30, 45 more minutes of this.
Right.
And he has had some duds. I've got a new show. I'll have to have you on to discuss his duds, 2 of his duds.
The 12 Chairs, and what other one?
The one where he's poor.
Life Stinks.
Life Stinks. And 12 Chairs I've never seen. I believe that was his very first movie. I think you said you weren't a fan of High Anxiety, but
I dig High Anxiety. I like High Anxiety.
That was someone else then. Yeah, I was a fan of High Anxiety, and that was before the parody films just became too abundant and the untalented people got in, like the Zucker brothers with the Naked Gun movies. Those are talented people doing silly parody. But then the lesser producers of Scary Movie was like, this is our gimmick, and they all fucking suck.
Yeah, they used too many like pop culture funny things, because did you
hear how they actually made those movies by watching trailers of upcoming movies? Like, they wanted to be as topical as possible. So these movies have no staying power over time. They don't even have gags in them from the actual movie, just gags from the trailer, because that's what was available. And we want to be topical when this comes out. So we get people in with this scene from Spider-Man that we saw in the trailer without actually seeing Spider-Man. Oh, that was Allison Hannigan in that Date movie, wasn't it? Poor, I like Allison Hannigan. Poor her in that movie. We could focus on movies for an absolute hour next time.
Totally.
Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Just my channel, American Cupcake Savage Navigation. It's I got, I think, like 20 some videos on there. Just me going around, seeing different stuff across the country. Like
a little
one
bit
of
of
my
a travel blog, so to say.
yeah, pretty much. One of my favorite videos that I did was I tried a Chicago style hot dog in New Jersey at a place called Big Papa's, and it was perfect. It was the perfect Chicago hot dog, save for two things. It was just a regular hot dog and not a Vienna beef, which okay, I get that. But the pickles are supposed to be spears, and they were the round chips. And that was the one big criticism that I had about the Big Papa Chicago hot dog.
Got to be the spheres.
It's got to be. You got to have a bite of pickle in every bite of that hot dog. That's the.
Oh shit! Reddit wants a link. I did not prepare the link. I'm getting a little bit better on preparing the links, but I did not prepare the link for American Cupcake. You can search him, look for channels, and his shit. I don't have your avatar either. Okay, we're still working out the kinks here. I will become better prepared to plug my guest channel. It is American Cupcake. It is a travel blog. We have got Bill Loney scheduled for next Wednesday. Tomorrow, I will be doing my TikTok Around the Clock show at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. The following day on Friday, Annie and I will be talking about Futurama Cubert episodes on Nerds Without Dates, midnight Eastern, Friday night, aka first thing Saturday morning. And later today, I will be on Annie's channel to talk about Valheim. Are you a video game guy, Cupcake? Uh-oh, I think it froze up on me. Good time to end the show. It's been really fun chatting with this beloved chatter, and I wrapped up at just the right time where his Wi-Fi froze up on us. Thank you all for joining so much. Check out me on Annie's channel. What is this game? Coming up after this show. I have it up here. Here is the Discord. I do voice chats on Tuesdays and Thursdays after my shows. And what is this game with Annie, where we will be talking Valheim this week. And that, I believe that is all for today. Bill Loney next week. If you would like to be a beloved chatter who I am chatting with, get a hold of me on Discord. Get a hold of me at dillonfromsomewhere@gmail.com. And let's do a shill segment on our way out. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to know when we are going live. And you can give a comment after this video is done to help out with the algorithm. We do enjoy our beloved chatters. The TikTok show is the one where I interact with the chat the most. I've kind of turned the co-host audition into a chat show, but that isn't the meaning of it, so I backed off from that. American Cupcake's phone overheated in the sun on the dashboard. American Cupcake's Savage Nation, thank you so much for joining until your phone is just too damn hot. He's got one of them sexy phones that gets a little bit too hot. Thank you all for joining. Now feel free to go away.
Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for going on this adventure with me. It's fun being with friends. I'll see you next time. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Places all join hands, circle left. Now circle right and listen to me. LS, MFT. Elementary corners like swinging on a gate. To right to you, honey, with the right and left date. Grand right and left around you go. Lucky strike means fine tobacco. Meet your honey and give her a whirl. All swing around with the little girls. Smoke 'em, then you'll see. LS, MFT. Promenade and don't you fall. Promenade around the hall. Lucky strike is first again with tobacco men. Promenade straight down the pike. It's time right now for a lucky strike. Yes, for smoking that you're bound to like, you just can't beat a lucky strike.